Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the great Shankar Bhagavad Pada is explaining the nature and characteristics of the Anatman. See, the disciple had asked 5 questions, one of which was, what is this Anatman? Because before knowing the Atman, the descriptions of which follow in the subsequent slokas. After a few slokas, he will start the descriptions of the Atman. Before that, it's first to know what is not Atman. Because the whole confusion, all our sufferings, all this bondage, etc., all that's happening because we are mistaking the Anatman for the Atman. The body, mind, etc., which are all Anatman, that's being mistaken for the Atman or the true self. That's why there is so much of suffering. So if you know clearly what is Anatman and if you can keep it away, then it's much easier to know what is Atman and proceed in our spiritual quest. So that's why he is taking great pains to explain what is Anatman. Actually, so in this loka is clearly explaining the characteristics where where there is a mixture of sattva with little rajas, and where there is no tamas. We have seen much of this sloka in the previous class itself. Mishtasya sattvasya bhavanti dharmaha. Dharmastu amanitadya niyamayamadyah sajjata bhakshisya mumukshita cha daivi cha sampattihi asannivritti. We have seen all that. What is Shraddha, Bhakti, Mumukshita? So we were just discussing the Devi Sampatis. What are the divine qualities? Again, in the 16th chapter, Gita clearly explains the divine qualities. Abhayam Sattva Shamsuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Danam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayas Tapaharjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodaha Tyaga Shantirapaisunam Daya Bhuteshu Lolapvam Mardavam Hira Chapalam Teja Kshamadhiti Socham Adroho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Devim Abhijatasya Bharata. So Bharata, one of noble birth, Abhijatasya. Know all these to be the Devi Sampat. Yes, enumerates as many as 16 qualities. Abhaya, fearlessness. Again, detailed explanations will also follow, because what is exactly Abhaya? Abhaya means devoid of fear. A true Abhaya, if one is established in Abhaya, what does it mean? Actually, in a true sannyasin is supposed to be established in Abhaya. Neither does he fear anything, nor does anyone or anything fears him. That is Abhaya, no? I'm a gunda, I'm a rogue, I'm a wicked person, everybody is afraid of me. That is not, that's why it is Abhayam Sarva Bhuteshu. So, I am not afraid of anything. Nobody is afraid of me also. That is true Abhaya. That's why they said, before this is Chandrasekhara Bharati, there was another great saint, Nrsimha Bharati, in the Sringeri Mutt. In the ashrama, Tungabhadra river flows just like Ganga flows in Belur Mutt. Of course, it's not as big a river like Ganga. Sometimes the water is not much. There, it is said that a tiger and a lamb would take water from the same cart. Because in his presence, there is no vairi bhava, there is no enmity. That is true abhaya. That is true fearlessness. You see, people who make everybody afraid, oh, you know who am I? I can do this, I can kill you, I can harm you. That is not abhaya. Abhaya means one who is truly established. Because when is true abhaya possible? Only when one is established in the highest knowledge of the Atman. Because when there is complete oneness, whom are you afraid of? Who will be afraid of you? There is no second entity. There is only one. So, unless one is fully established in that kind of a oneness, or the knowledge that I am the Atman or I am the Brahman, true Abhaya is not possible. So, in the presence of such people, you would have seen sometimes, somebody's presence is so holy, so soothing. In their presence, you automatically become calm. All your chanchalata, restlessness, they simply come to yes, halt. Because these are all some of the qualities. So, in the presence of a person who is truly established in Abhaya, nothing happens. It's said when Raja Maharaj was once walking along a crowded street or something, and devotees were walking in front of him. Suddenly, a mad bull, so to say, a bull which was in a terrible state of anger, was just rushing to them. Very quickly, Raja Maharaj kind of, pushed the people aside. He went and stood in front. The bull came very near him and completely stopped dead near him, and then simply quietly went away. See, that is the nature of being established in Abhaya. Neither would anyone fear you, nor will you be afraid of anyone, because you are established truly in the knowledge of supreme nature. So, you are not afraid of anything. Of course, Chandrasekhar Bharati also gives his own explanation. He says, devoid of the fear of sorrow arising from something which is very dear. This is also a fear, no? Someone is so dear, people, our relations, husband, wife, children, grandchildren, whatever it is. Terrible fear. What would happen if they go away, if they are not there? So the absence of that fear. And similarly, association or conjunction with what is not dear. That's also fear. I'm so linked to this. What will happen? How to get rid of it? It's not leaving me. It's some habit, something, some sahabas, some unwanted people, undesirable people. You're terribly afraid. They know that if you give up their company, you may be harmed and you may be killed. These are all abhaya at a more existential level. So, you can say if you are firmly established in the practice of what is prescribed in the Shastras, without any doubt about its efficacy, there's also abhaya. But the highest abhaya, idea of abhaya is being fully established in that kind of oneness, where you never you're never afraid of anything, and you're always others are also, they feel absolutely comfortable and very very nice in your presence. They have nothing to fear. That kind of freedom. Then Sattva Samshuddhi, that is purity of the heart, absolute purity of the antakarana, which is full of Sattva Guna. It is absolutely undefiled, not contaminated by Rajasa Tamas. So, you can say here Sattva Samshuddhi means the capacity to intuitively know the nature of the divine. Bhagavat Tattva Spurti Yogyatva. Bhagavat Tattva Spurti Yogyatva. The nature of the divine. To know the nature of the divine, that's also called as Sattva Samshuddhi. Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi. Jnana is the understanding of the truth of the Atman from the Shastras and the Guru Upadesha, from the Upadesha. And yoga is converting, what is learned that way into one's experience by deep contemplation, etc. etc. So Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti means being always established. Hear something from the Guru, you know something from the Shastras, then by deep practice, etc., you get completely established in that. So dana, of course, we know giving in something in charity, depending upon the yogyata patra. Apatri danam is not recommended. So we give in dana according to a deserving person. If somebody is very very poor, is just looking for some subsistence, and suddenly you give him 1 crore. That person may have heart attack and die, or he may not even know how to use it. He may completely misuse it. So here, dana also according to the nature, how much you have to give. And then danam, dama. Dama is actually the shama dama uparati visa. Dama is controlling the external senses. Then damascha yajnascha swad. So yajna, this is yajna is one thing is like yajnas like Agnihotra or Darshapurnamasa, etc. And then there are two types of yajnas. These are called Shrauta yajnas. Smarta yajnas are the Devagya, Pitragya, Bhutagya, Manushagya, all that. Huh? These are all for the propitiation of the gods, the ancestors, creatures, and men. And then Brahma Yajna is finally then reading the Upanishads and recitation of the branches of the Vedas like Rig Veda, etc., which give different kind of results. So, Yajna, Dhanam Damasya Yajnasya, Swadhyaya, of course, naturally, study of the scriptures, etc., Swadhyaya, Tapa. Tapa is also again three kinds of tapas are mentioned in the Gita. That is, Deva Dvija Pritu, Deva Dvija Pragnya, Pujanam Shochamarjavam, Brahmacharyam Ahimsa cha, Shariram Tapojyate. What is the physical tapas? Dhanam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyaya Tapa Arjavam. Tapa is next item that is being taken. What is that? Again, what is physical austerity or physical sharira tapa kya hai? The worship of gods, deva, dvija, guru, prajna, wise men, shaucha, marjavam, purity, um, then truthfulness, steadfastness, or straightforwardness, are actually that. Then brahmacharya, then celibacy, ahimsa, non-injury, shariram, all these are all called sharirik tapas. Then anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyetam chayat. Speaking as to not to hurt. Anudvegakaram vakyam. Simply some people keep on right, left and center, keep on hurting others. That is not, that means they don't have vangmaya tapa. They don't have the tapas of speech. Because no, it is in very famous, the Thiruvalluvar says, whatever else might protect, whatever else might restrain, most importantly, control your tongue. That's most important. So many things, kingdoms have lost, families are ruined, everything because of this lack of control of speech. Uncontrolled speech, keeping on saying whatever comes to the mind, not looking right, left, and center, not looking whether it is a younger one or elder one, worthy of respect. Any, simply keep on. I give right, left, and center. That's not a quality. So, tapa of the walk, Vangmayam tapa kya? Anudvegakaram vakyam. Never speak anything which is extremely hurtful. Then, satyam priyahitam chayat. At the same time, you are not to speak untruth. There are people who revel in that. You do not hurt. On the other hand, you keep on saying which is untruth. Oh, you are this, you are that, just to get some favor, just to please that person. Mukastuti, they say. Simply you keep on praising that person to the skies. That also is not Vang Mayatapas. What is that? Satyam Priyahitam Chayat. You must speak the truth. You must speak that which is kind and beneficent, Priyahitam, and it should be Anadvegakaram, but underlying all that, it should be Satya, truth. Swadhyayabhyasanam Chaiva. Practice of, the Vedic recitation, Swadhyaya, etc. All these are all Vangmaya. Vangmayam tapausyate. Then manaprasada saumyatvam. Manaprasada, the prasada, the delight of the mind. Saumyatvam, goodness. Maunam atma vinigraha, silence, control of the mind. You know, bhava samshuddhihi iti etat, purity of the nature, bhava samshuddhi. Should not, Thakur says in Bengali, bhaver ghore churi korben. Mon mukyak. The mind and speech should be one. Should not have, should the stealing in the bhava means, you hold some, you tell something else. You believe in something, you speak something else. These are all, not, they are all not bhava samsuddhi. So then, bhava samdhi iti etat tapo manasamuchyate. They are tapas of the mind. First, he starts with a little more of the grosser type, which is a performance exercise, the sharir tapa. Then more subtle, using words which are priya, hita, at the same time they are truthful, not hurting. And then finally, goodness. Then maunam. Maunam is also, tapas of the mind. And then atma vinigraha, control of the mind. All these. So then swadhyaya tapa, then this arjava, the sincerity, straightforwardness, identity of the function, the mind, speech, and body. Body, mind, and speech. Oneness. That means, one has to be absolutely straightforward. Otherwise, it's not possible to practice this. Ahimsa, we already saw ahimsa is, not hurting, not injuring anybody, non-violence. Again, body, mind, and speech, by everything. In fact, one further step is not even by thought. One cannot think of even hurting anybody by thinking. That's what now people like Thakur Ma. Not only physically not hurting, not by words, not even in mind, thinking something which is hurtful to others. The highest kind of ahimsa. Then ahimsa, satyam, akrodha. Satya is truthfulness. So speaking that which is truth, as it is seen, as it is witnessed. Akrodha, the, even that akrodha is actually literally that means free from anger. Otherwise, you can also say that uh, when somebody harms you by body, mind, or anything, the feeling of enmity that arises in you by any reason, because now krodha is generated by something, is it not? You doesn't become angry. There's something behind it, some reason. Somebody says something, you see something, you are hurt by somebody, you come across something. So immediately that arises in your mind. If that is immediately controlling that feeling, that surge that occurs immediately due to something, some trigger, controlling it completely, that is a krodha. Krodha is free from anger. Then free from anger means what? When something triggers, immediately. Of course, even maybe a much higher state will be when whatever you see also, it doesn't even bring any reaction in your mind. For ordinary martyrs, the first step is something happens, there seems to be a trigger inside, this explosion is about to take place, controlling it quickly, not allowing it to come to surface or come to expression. That is also a krodha. But of course, a higher state will be when you see something, even if you hear something negative, even something hurtful, you are not agitated. It doesn't produce any anger in you. So that's even a greater step. Then we saw ahimsa, satyam, akrodha, tyaga. Tyaga is, of course, renunciation. This is again giving up the every kind of tyaga, not only material. Tyaga of this ahankara, feeling, damba, darpa, I am this, I am that, I am from a rich place, I am from this family, I am from this caste, jati, anything, I have these qualities. And you see, even the giving up of association with grief also says. That's also a kind of tyaga. Something happens, you are terribly grief stricken, giving up, that also is tyaga. So giving up anything, more and more you can fine tune it, take it to a higher and higher grade, that becomes, more and more the greater idea of tyaga. Shanti hi apesha. Shanti, of course, we know that is control of the internal and external organs, control of the mind, the absolute total peace of mind, not disturbed by anything. Vaishnam is publicly finding fault with others, speaking ill of others, speaking about the negative qualities and all that. These are all called apeshana. The absence of that is, these are all poishana. Apeshana is absence of this quality. Constantly criticizing somebody's negative qualities in front of others. See, if you are a hitaishi, if you feel that such a person should improve, you'll go and tell him privately. See, these are all the things that is noticed. Can you improve? Because otherwise you may be in difficulty. But then, delighting in somebody's negative qualities and constantly, he did like that, she did like that, she spoke like that, she behaved like that. These are all called paishuna. Paishuna is, free from all these. Your absence of, calumny. And then daya is compassion, compassion to the others, not able to see the suffering or afflictions of other creatures when they are suffering. You're completely moved by the suffering of others, and you do something immediately. It's not just you see, aha, I said, okay, yeah, no, not that. You get into action. You're so much overwhelmed, daya, anukampa. And then bhutesh, daya bhutesh towards beings. And then aloluptvam or aroluptvam, these are all, there's the same word. This meaning, this is not affected, even in the sense organs not being affected, even in the presence of sense objects. There's something which is lobhaniya. You do not develop that attraction towards anything. The temptations, don't succumb to temptations. They're all present all around, but your sense organs are so much in kurmongani vasarvasha. So, his prajna is pratishtita, she says, when talking about Sita Prajna in Gita. Huh? Idasam harate chayam kurmongani vasarvasha. Indriyani indriyartebhyaha tasya prajna pratishtita. So, aloluptvam is, even when the most tempting sense objects are present, the sense organs are not affected. They are completely under control. Then, loluptvam mardava. Mardava is, the, you're always, you can say Mardava is gentleness, being gentle, being of the nature of Komalata. So, always you can say uh, good people would like to be associated with you because you're so gentle and so good natured. Good people like to associate themselves with you. This kind of a quality. Madhavam. He, he actually, you do something which is not, uh, of course, they say it is also translated as modesty. You can, it's also, Shukracharya gives the Chandrasekhar Bhartiji, he gives the translation. A sense of shame in doing what should not be done. You do something which is not to be done, you feel so ashamed, so unhappy about that. So that kind of alertness. So you don't do anything. Being extremely modest. And then achapala is, of course, absence of restlessness. That is, not being engaged in useless action. Why restlessness comes about? We keep on doing these, that, everything which is all not necessary. All that lead to a tremendous sense of restlessness, absence of that kind of restlessness. And then Teja. Teja is actually, can say Teja means Teja is very power, energy, then the kind of a positive vibe. Very Tejasvi, Teja. Teja means power, etc. So you can say it is also confidence, not being, you know, overcome by any other people or things like that. You're a person of power, strength, and vigor. You have so much of that kind of a feeling. So you're always very able to withstand any such person that way. And Shama is, of the nature of, forgiving, always ready to forgive under any condition, whatever has happened, even if there is the reason for one to get angry, to feel insulted, and so on, under any circumstances, always ready to forgive. And then Dhriti is, the fortitude of mind. Mind is always, it's calm, even if there is a grief or this or that, is ability to withstand. It's very stable, and very quickly it comes to a state of stability. You can say dhairya. Huh? Then the Shaucha we have seen, that is purity, internal, external. Already we have seen. Adroho. Never, any ill feeling towards anybody. Absence of hatred. This, about some people, says Ajata Shatru. He has no enemy. Dharmaputra, supposed to be Ajata Shatru. He had no enemy. Similarly, because in his mind also there was no enmity. He was Adroho, of the quality of Adroha. Not only that, you see, you should never indulge in such actions which may lead to the harming of others. So Droha is that kind of absence of hatred, etc. Then Athimanita, na Athimanita, not having that kind of Athimanita is, glorifying oneself with or without proper reason. Keep on saying, I did that, I did that, I did this, I went here, I went there. Keeping on, going on, praising oneself in and out of context. Always only talking about oneself. Some people, if you say within a minute, some 100 times they'll say, I, again and again. I did it, I did that, I went this, I went here, I went there. So this is Atimanita. Natimanita means an attitude of humility, that is never trying to glorify oneself. So then obviously is worthy of respect by others and all that. These are all Bhavanti Sampadam Devim. These are the divine qualities. Company person born of uh, good tendencies and by meritorious actions. These things, people don't get it like that. One has to deserve it. So many births, previous births, whatever the good actions you have done, all meritorious actions, they result in one acquiring these great qualities. Yeah. So these for because in the previous janma the punya karmas lead to all that, and then papa karmas lead to the asuri sampada, the asuri or demoniac qualities. And then finally in this sloka, Mr. Sarvasya Bhavanti, finally he says, Daivita Sampati, that's over, Asan Nivriti, withdrawing oneself from whatever is asat, that which is not Brahman, that which is not the truth. Asan Nivriti is, of course, this is, again, so many ways Shankaracharya is trying to give us what are those qualities which can be developed in a person with who's full of sattva and with a little trace of rajas. Finally, he talks about the quality of asannivritti, constantly trying to withdraw from Asat, of course, one can also say that withdrawing oneself from any evil conduct also, asat nivritti, it's a much lower idea, but still that can also be considered because na virato duscharitatva na shanto is all that, no? Says Brahman is not attained, the Atman is not realized by someone who does not resist from evil conduct. So, you can say asat nivritti here, one can take it also like that, desisting from evil action. Then, so again, he says, having spoken of sattva guna, where there's only trace of rajas, etc., the nature of sattva, absolutely untouched by them, is again explained. There, it was a misrasya. There was a mishra, there was a mixture of sattva and traces of rajas. Now he talks of vishuddha sattva, total, complete sattva. What happens in such a person? What is the nature of pure sattva? Absolutely untouched by rajas, because no question of tamas. So what happens? Vishuddha sattvasya gunah prasadaha स्वात्मानुभूतिः परमा प्रशांतिः तृप्तिः प्रहर्षः परमात्मनिष्ठा एया सदानंद रसम समृच्छति. So Vishuddha Sattva, pure Sattva, uncontaminated by Rajas and Tamas. What are his gunas? What are the effects of Sattva? Are prasadaha. The mind is absolutely manaprasadat somyatvam monamatma vinigrahadra. The calmness, complete calmness, peace of mind, because there is no impurity. Because of the absence of Rajas and Tamas, the mind is so pure. It's always in a state of complete calmness. There is no disturbance. And then Swatmanabhuti, the experience of oneself, the Anubhuti of Swatma, the Atman, because there is nothing, there is no tamas to conceal the Atman and no rajas to project it wrongly. Because no, rajas does the work of wrong projection and tamas does the act of concealing. So because of this, because Atman, due to rajas and tamas, there is wrongly projected and also concealed. First it is concealed by tamas and then is projected as wrongly. This is the famous example of Rajju being projected as Sarpa. First Rajju is covered by tamas and then it is wrongly projected as Sarpa. So in the absence of tamas and rajas, there is neither concealment nor wrong projection. So the Atman is completely revealed, its experience inside. And then because of that, it is Parama Prashanti. It's a wonderful, deep peace, complete peace, supreme peace is experience. Then, so it is, it does not, it shines clearly, and the sheets that cover it, the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manumaya, etc., they are all that way overcome. And then when there's pure sattva only, the Atma's nature is experienced without any impediment. The result of which there is supreme peace of mind. Parama Prashantihi. Then, so a sadhaka, it becomes for a sadhaka as a matter of personal experience upon the realization of the Atman, because there is nothing to stop that experience, and the mind, the unconcealed mind, becomes that way receptacle. Through that, it's possible to have ultimately the highest idea. Then, so this results in tripti, a complete sense of satisfaction, a deep sense of satisfaction, because once you experience the highest, the mind becomes completely satisfied. And then praharsha, the bliss, this kind of bliss, harsha is of course we know happiness. Praharsha is bliss that arises without any effort, very superior delight. Or it would also mean that one might consider oneself fortunate because of having done what is to be done. or having attained what is to be attained. So such a person is very happy because he has done what is to be done, and he has also got what is to be got. Namely, he has got the highest idea, highest experience of Atman. So this Praharsha, normally, all our delight, all our happiness, they are all related to something that is being done or not done. It is done, it is not done. That kind of a give and take. But if the bliss arises without any effort, spontaneously, why? Because the moment the Atmanubhuti happens, such a mind is completely in a state of delight. First, there is satisfaction, there is santushti, there is tripti, and then there is praharsha, bliss that is not conditioned by doing anything or not doing anything. Then Paramatmanishta, without break being established in the Paramatma. Paramatma Nishta, completely established without any break. So then, in such a, see, once the Swatmanubhuti, one experiences the Atman, and then if it is Nishta, it's completely established, then there is pure bliss always. So, such a person experiences the highest bliss, Sadarandharasam Sabrichati, always he experiences the Ananda Rasa, that means able to maybe enjoying the highest kind of samadhi or whatever it is, and because the perception of the real nature, it leads to such a great experience of bliss, etc. Then now we have previously we saw in the nature of Avyakta, it's explained as Maya. Maya is explained. Avyakta namni paramesha shakti anadi vidya trigunatmika para anadya vidya anadi avidya trigunatmika para karyanamaya sudhiyaiva maya. So this avyakta, the nature of avyakta is unmanifested was it started from that sloka avyakta namni. So it is consists of the three gunas. It is called Maya, Avidya, etc. And it's to be inferred from its effects. Karyanimeya. It is inferred from its action effects because no, there is nothing to see this object or directly perceive it or experience it in either way because of the delusion. Maya's experience is that the Rajju is perceived as Sarpa, that is because of Maya. So there is Abhyakta. So here also it is called that. And then it is, of course, destroyed by the jnana. Then is then he's giving further description. Avyaktametat trigunai niruktam tat karanam nama shariram सुषुप्ति ही एतस्य विभक्ति अवस्था प्रलीन सर्वेन्द्रिय बुद्धि वृत्ति ही. So the unmanifested avyaktam etat trigunai niruktam is said to be made of three gunas. Yeah, we also saw avyakta namni paramesha shakti. Is it not? Anadya vidya trigunatmika para. So it's trigunatmika. Tat karanam nama shariram atmanaha. The Atman is the karana sharira of the Atman. Stula Sarira, Sukshma Sarira, and there is what is called Karna Sarira, the causal body. Shushuptihi etasya vibhakti avastha. Vibhakti means distinct aspect of it. Shushupti and is characterized by Pralina Sarvendriya Buddhi Vrittihi. Dissolution of the activities of the Sarvendriya, the sense organs, and Buddhi, Pralina. So, the dissolution of all the activities of the Indriyas as well as the Buddhi. So, Sushupti is a very special characteristic. It's a distinct aspect of this Avyakta. It's also called Karana Sharira, or the causal body, and it's known by its effects and is characterized by the dissolution of all the sense organs and also the buddhi vritti. So we shall take it up in detail next time, because this is a very important sloka. Just slowly, Shankaracharya will take us to after this, because after completing the question, what is Anatman, then he will go on to explain what is Atman. That will take more slokas. Then slowly is explaining in great detail. We shall take it up in the next class. The next class will be on the 21st, because next week is Deepavali. The week after that, I am not here. So we will continue this Vivekachudamani from Avyaktameta Trigune Niruptam on the 21st. If Bhagavan व्यवस्था करें. ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम तत्सत. श्री रामकृष्ण अर्पणमस्तु.